Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. I apologize to those that have listened to my previous recordings, and I hadn't gotten back on there yet, but I've been real busy. But I want to start by telling you all my testimony. I'm going to give you a little bit about my testimony. So back in 2014, I went through a job loss. And so through this job loss that I went through, I started reading my scripture more, and went into prayer mode and everything, you know. But the man that y'all call Father, he spoke to me January 3rd of 2015. And on that day, he told me, he said, Crystal, he said, I'm going to make your name great. And you're going to be a blessing unto the people and unto the nations and unto the earth. And so I was like, okay. And so fast forward up to 2016. I go to 2016. And well, let me go back. So during the last few months of 2015, from September of 2015 through December of 2015, I had set up a Kingdom Ministry page. And through those months, I had done a lot of biblical prophesying postings. And at that time, I had posted about Sulphur, Oklahoma going to go through a tornado, that it was going to be destroyed because of a tornado. And I had also posted that the Chickasaw Nation needed to get in touch with me because there was going to be many, many deaths to take place throughout that tribe. And so we get to 2016, and I'm still reading my scripture and stuff. Nobody ever contacted me. Nobody ever made any mention about my postings or anything. And so we get to 2016, and it was January 14th. I'm sitting there and I'm reading my Bible one day. And he tells me, and he's told me to let the people know about this because he wants to see how far these girls are going to try to take this stuff. And so he tells me to stand up in the middle of the floor, and I stand up in the middle of the floor, and he tells me to hold my hands out like this, and I held my hands out like that. And he says, I'm going to enter you 3 times. And he said something else about when I enter you this 3rd time, and I don't remember what he said. So each time that he entered me, he says, I am entering you. I am entering you. I am entering you. And then I felt him turn around and come out. And then he told me to go ahead and sit down. To sit back down and go back to my reading and everything. And so I went back to my reading and stuff. And some things took place January 19th of that year. And I'll go into further details about that maybe on my later recordings, but it'll definitely be in my book. And so, since January 14th of 2016, my life ain't been the same. And you know how you go through, hearing people talk about, okay, the closer you get to the Lord, the harder your life is going to become. There's going to be more stumbling blocks and so forth. And so I was prepared for all of those things. I was prepared for all of those things. But I wasn't prepared for him to take over my mind, body, soul, and spirit. Okay? And so, like I said, my life ain't been the same. I wasn't never no troublemaking child. I went to school, finished school, and everything. I got arrested when I was 15 for public intoxication and curfew. Got my ass beat. You know what I'm saying? Ain't pulled that shit again. And so, like I said, I wasn't a problem child. I've always worked and kept a job and handled my business and so forth. And so, when I talk about these things, about some of the things that I hear the people post and say, it upsets me, and I'm just gonna be honest, it pisses me off because I'm like, y'all ain't been through shit. You motherfuckers ain't been through nothing to be sitting up here talking about, they sitting up there talking about they the bride of Christ and all this and that, and they don't even have the understanding of it all. And so back in 2019, when COVID was taking off real heavy, he told me, he said, Crystal, he said, how does it feel to have the world shut down behind you? And I'm like, huh? And he said, how does it feel to have the world shut down behind you? He said, COVID. He said, COVID stands for Crystal Osborne is denied. And so I'm going to write it out for you real quick. And so he started taking me through the scriptures. But before he took me through the scripture, he had me write out COVID. I probably should have wrote this in ink pen, because I don't know if y'all can see this. But he had me write out COVID, and he had me write my name, Crystal, and then Osborne, and then Vine, and then is, and then denied. And then down here, he said that's where the word tree is at. And then lead. And forgive my fingernails for those that want to have something to say. I don't do manicures and all that. But anyways. And so he's like, how does it feel to have the world shut down behind you? And, I got what he was saying, but he wanted to point out, and I don't have a highlighter. Oh, yeah, I do. He wanted to point out my name, Sis, and I've highlighted it there. And then he also pointed out the word rise, R-I-S-E, and he would say, rise, sis. And so then, when I tell y'all I've been through some things, and when he was doing a lot of talking and explaining to me, he would tell me to tell my family these things. Excuse my cough. But he never went into full description whenever he would tell me to sit down and tell them these things. He would only give me like just little pieces to tell them. And so he had me sit down and write out the word creator. And it's a 7-letter word. And first he was having me write out church. He had me write out, he had me write out creator and then head under the C-R-E-D or C-R-E-A. He had me write out head. And so first he was having me write out church, but that was the only word that nowadays I'm writing chief, but that's the only words we wrote is church and chief. Everything else has been the same. And so in the R-E category, he had me write out redeemer. In the E-A category, he had me write out earth. In the A-D category, he had me write out Adoniah. In the T-R category, he had me write out Trinity. In the O-S category, he had me write out, in the O category, he had me write out Osborne. And then in the R category, he had me write out Lords. In the T category, I said T-R, and it's just the T category, but he had me write Trinity in that category. And then it comes up with the word hair. In my previous recordings, I told y'all that I would provide details. Unlike these girls and these adult women that are out here trying to say that they are me. They are not me. They have no understanding of the things that I'm about to explain to you people. And so here he had me, you can see the word hair. You can see the word hair there. And so during that, there's times when he's telling me to write out the word creator, he's like, Crystal, you are the creator. He says, you are the creator. And when I tell you that I went through some things, like, man, I've been through some things. You know what I'm saying? And so then he takes me and he has me write out the word revelations. And whenever he had me write out the word revelations, he had me write out my first name, Crystal, in the R box down. And then he had me write out Jesus in the E box down. And then he had me write out Vine in the V box down. And then he had me write out Messiah in the E box down. And then he had me write out Lords in the L box down. And so in those boxes of mentioning, it gives you, again, it reveals my name, Sis, and then it reveals the word sons. And then it also reveals the word seed, like paraseed, the solar paraseed. And so I'm going to show you how this looks. There's my name, Sis, and then there's sons, and then what else word did I say? Oh, seed. And then there's seed, as in the word solar paraseed. And then he had me read the scripture from Revelations 1:14. It says, his head and hair were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes like a flame of fire. And then he stopped me right there. And he said, Crystal. He said, is your hair, and I don't know if y'all can see it, he said, is your hair not gray? And it is gotten grayer these last couple years. And, you know, I agreed, and I was like, yeah. And during those days, it wasn't flat ironed out. I mean, it was just natural. And he said, is your hair not woolly? I said, yes. He said, okay, you are the creator. And I said, okay. And so down here, whenever I wrote it out, I put, my hair color is called Solar Nights. Okay, my hair color is called Solar Nights. And then he took me, when he revealed my name to me, he took me back to the COVID. He took me back to COVID. And he said, Crystal Osborne's vine is denied. And then he took me to Revelations 22:1. And it says, and he showed me a pure river of water, a pure river of water of life, a pure river of life, water of life, sorry, misread that, clear as crystal, proceeding from the thrones of the lords and of the lambs. And so then he started taking me through 7-letter words. Thrones is a 7-letter word. And then he would have me write out either my last name or my first name, either underneath the word or above the word. And so when you write my last name above the word thrones, it gives you the word mother. And it's mother bronze. It gives you the word mother and then bronze. Let me write it out for you. And so some people have even acknowledged that and they're calling the woman that they're looking for, they're calling her the bride of Christ. But I guess I heard it like that as a child, but I always heard it as the woman of wisdom. I always heard this one woman being called the woman of wisdom, or the hidden woman. I didn't too much hear about the bride of Christ. And so what I'm writing out here is I've written out the word thrones. I'm sorry, I should have had this part written out. But I've written out the word thrones, and then I've written my last name, Osborne, above the word thrones. And then it says mother, sheets, bronze, booked, nestled message is what I wrote nestled twice. But it's nestled message. And then you can see the word see all down here at the bottom. And so I don't know if y'all can see that, but it's mother bronze, booked, nestled message. And so he didn't talk to me a whole lot about Revelations 22:1. He did ask me, he says, do you know what that means? And I never said anything, because he would always say, you are the creator. Crystal, you are the creator. And so, I'd be like, okay. And, we'd have other conversations and so forth. And then he took me to Revelations 12:1. It says, "Now a great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun." And then he stopped me right there. And he said, "This is what this means." He says, "Sis, they are talking about you, the woman clothed with the sun." In Revelations 12:1, he says, "You are the crowned woman." He says, "You are the crown of life." And, I was like, okay. And then down here it says, "Clothed with the sun and with the moon under her feet, and on her head a crown of stars." And so that's why he put emphasis on the word crown of life. And so whenever he had talked to me on January 3rd of 2015, he had told me, he said, "If you continue to follow this path with me, to walk this path with me, I will," he said, "if you continue to follow this path, to walk this path with me, I will let you keep your crown of life." And that kind of irritated me a little bit, because I'm like, I ain't done nothing wrong to be dying. How you going to sit up and tell me you're going to let me keep my crown of life? I ain't done nothing wrong to be dying. And then he took me to the scripture, through the scripture of John 3:16. "For whosoever believeth in me shall not perish, but have everlasting life." And we kind of went back and forth jokingly with the word whosoever. And he used a different word, like it's the same word that I use, but I put the emphasis on the ETH. And so he joked with me that day. So I kind of knew he was jokingly, that he was he jokes. But down here, whenever I wrote this out today, he had me write this out again today. And y'all heard about and I know some people have and some people haven't, but this wannabe goddess that calls herself Isis. My name ain't Isis, okay? I'm the core to everything. But this is where they got this piece from. I am above ancient written history, okay, people? Are you understanding me? I'm trying to take you through the understandings the way he took me through it. So I know some people, y'all gonna be like, "I'm turning this shit off. She ain't making no sense. She ain't talking. She saying she the creator. A man created me." Okay, we'll turn the recording off. I'm fine with that, because I know who I be. You understand? So today when he had me write it out, I wrote out as I usually do, but he had me write Christ. And we went over that word back in 2019. And he said, "Crystal," he said, "they aren't even spelling the word right." He said, "They put an H in it." He said, "Christ is spelled Christ." He said, "Now I know you went through this when you was in grade school. It was a scheduled time." He said, "So I know you went through this." And he said, "So don't spell it like that." He's like, and he went through it with me. He said, it's Christ. And excuse my teeth, and I got explanations for mine. He said, "It's Christ." He said, that's not the spelling of the name. He said, "Look at how the Mexicans spell Christ Stos. And it's Chrisstos. And he had me put in my last name, Osborne, Osborne. And I can't see those letters but it says Core Doors, Bible, Souls, Tree, Sons, Sent. And I should have went ahead and wrote Honey Trees Sent, Bible, Core Doors. But yeah, I should have wrote there Honey Trees Sent, Bible, Core Doors. This is how they came up with the scripture, people. This is how I wrote the Bible. Bible comes out of my name stacked. But this is how, when you see how my writings are, like how I wrote out this part, I'll hold it up there long enough for y'all to take a screenshot. He has me line it. I'm not lining the words up. Whenever I go back, whenever I finish writing out my sentence, and he tells me, he says, "Do not line your words up as if you was trying to do it." He said, "Just continue writing as you normally do. I just want 2 sentences, and then we'll stop at those two sentences, and then we'll see if any of your letters line up, and it will make words out of those column categories. And so that's how he told me that my scripture is written. And so when people that was writing biblical scriptures, when they called themselves writing about me, they either was line the words up like they wanted to make sure it was lined up, and then some of them was getting called true prophets because they was doing like me and just writing normally, and then they would stop, and then they would make words properly. Or some of them was just making a branded story because for whatever reason they thought that they was going to be able to sell a story. I guess story selling was a big deal back in those days. And he's giving me confirmation as yes, and it was a repeated pattern that the people went through of doing story selling. Story selling sales is what they was doing out of my stacked name. Story does not come out of my stacked name, but it is with a 5-letter word, and I call it my 5-letter game called Sissy, Sissy. And so when I tell you people that I've been through some things and that I'm upset with a lot of females, and I mean I'm pissed off. So it's like this: if y'all want to catch hands, we can catch hands. I'm pissed off. I have been in and out of mental hospitals after the man y'all call father revealed me to me through my gray, known as my solar, known as my anatomy. I've been to jail. When I tell y'all I've been through some things because he took over my mind, body, soul, and spirit, January 14th of 2016. And my life ain't been right since. I've been in normalization still, but it's like I can't get out of, he's still teaching me. He's still teaching me these things. But now I'm getting to an end break because I've come this far with truthfulness. I do not know how many totes I've got. I got at least 2 totes, 2 crates, 2 crate totes of paper writings. But it all reveals something about me. I've had people throw my writings away. I've had people throw my notebooks, my binders outside. Because they didn't want to acknowledge me. Because they was programmed, taught to deny the living tree, known as the lead core. And so, when I tell you people that he's really taken me through some things, I've been through a lot. And I've sat a lot by myself for him to reveal him to me and for him to reveal me to me. And people don't want to acknowledge that part for whatever reason. Looking for, there it is. In this box, I've got my name, Crystal Osborne, stacked. And I've written in my CO column category, core. In my RS column category, pastors. In my SO category, souls. In my TR category column, Trinity. In my AN category column, Anchor. In my LE category column, Bible. And then down here in my S, in my I words from Souls and Trinity across, I've got Scion. Scion stands for solar. And then I've got tree. And then I wrote my name again, Crystal. And then at the end of tree, down in the EA category column, I wrote earth. Now, I've been told that some people do not understand my writings, and I get it. I do. I get it. But these wannabe scientists, they've done this. Not just the wannabe scientists, but your congressmen, y'all so-called 4 founding fathers. So back here, it says, length of days, I'm in Proverbs 3:16. It says, length of days is in her right hand, and in her left hand riches and honor. If you don't mind, I would like for you to hold up your right hand for me and make the letter C. And when you look at it, you can clearly see the C right there in your face, the letter C. And then I want you to take your left hand and hold it up for me. You see the C? And make that an O, the letter O. Both the C and the O right there in your face. Or you could do it like that and you could see the word co. You spell the word co. I'm across your hands and your fingers. See the C-O I'm talking about? C-O, C-O. I'm the co. Then you take your fingers, you use your thumb as your lead. C-O, 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 C-O. I'm the co in everything. And so then you come over here to Proverbs 3:18. It says, she is the tree of life to them that lay upon her, and happy is everyone that retaineth her. I thought I had it in my stack here, but I guess I don't. When you look at my name, I've done said it so many times, like I guess I thought I had it here, but I don't mind writing it out again. But let me look and see. I should have it in my notebook. I don't see it without having to go through everything. But I'm going to write it out for you. And when you look on the internet, I hadn't looked in a dictionary to see if it says anything, but the tree of life, they've got it named as Sophia. If you look at my name there, this is how the vocabulary came up. Crystal Osborne came before the universe. Okay? If you look at the RS in my name here, I don't have enough room to write it, but you're able to write the word universe or universal. And then you can see I've got the word souls listed here, S-O-U-L-S, and then tree. And I left that part blank. And then I should have went ahead and said but then lead. This is why when you get over to Proverbs 3:16, and it says, length of days is in her right hand, and in her left hand riches and honor. I'm cross your hands and your fingers. Okay? And so I'm going to show y'all how else I'm able to give you full definition of me revealing myself. I showed you that CO goes across your hands. That CO goes across your hands and your fingers. There's the word hands. There's the word fingers. I am also your legs. Like I said, I'm your soul. I'm your core. If you stack my last name above my first name, you're able to get what was I looking for? Nose. You can get nose, and then you can also write nostrils in that same category. I'm sorry, in that same category column. In the same category column where fingers is listed, you're able to write ears. In the same category column where legs is listed, you're able to write skeleton or skeletal or muscles. Where in the SO category column is listed, you're able to write souls, SOLES. In the CO category, you are able to write conscience. I am your conscience. Okay? I'm the one that knows best. Okay? And so I'm kind of rushing through this because I've got somewhere I've got to be, and I've got some more understandings and wisdoms and knowledge that I like to reveal to you people. And it's not wisdom, people, it's a 7-letter game, okay? To line up with my 7-letter names. Okay? So it's going to be 7 letters. It's going to be wisdom. I'm writing out the word wisdom. In the WO category column, I'm sorry, I wrote out my last name, Osborne, and in the WO category column, I wrote out woman. I'm going to write out my name, Sis. People might be writing history, because they know about me. I'm going to give y'all so much understanding and information in my next recording. I'm excited. I truly am. I'm excited about what's to come. In my DO category, I wrote doors. In my OR category, I wrote lords. And then in my SE category, I'm going to write sevens. But the man y'all call Father, he's telling me to write sets or sealed. And so this is how he's revealed me to me. Okay? And so when you get over in the Quran, also stacked out of my name, as well as the Bible being stacked out of my name, okay? I got 16 books out of the Quran listed out of my name stacked, as well as 28 books out of the Bible listed out of my name stacked, as well as the Jubilee. And whenever you talk about the Jubilee, I got years. In that RS category where I said fingers and ears go, that's also where years go. Okay, in the SO category where I said soul goes, solar also is in that category. And where I showed you where tree is at, we also got for the solar tree antenna. Okay, AN for where the hands, where I showed you where the hands is at, that's where the antenna goes at. Where I showed you where the legs is at, that's where the LEDs are at. Where the CO is at, that's where your constellations, your comets, your what I done lost the thought. He's messing with me right now. The man y'all call Father, he's messing with me. But this is how they used my name to write the biblical scripture and got caught catching, but they caught a bunch of blasphemy charges. It says, this is in the Quran, it says the day of congregation. Congregation also comes out of my name stacked. It says we're at 60, and I apologize because I just be reading. I don't know how people read. We're at 62:2. It is he who has raised among the unlettered people a messenger from among themselves, who recites his revelations to them and purifies them, and teaches them the book and wisdom, for they had formerly been clearly misguided. This again is in the Quran. It is spelled incorrectly on here, but it is spelled Coran, and it shows you, excuse me, it shows you back here where they have it spelled Coran. Excuse me, my nose is itching. And so when you look at my name stacked, I am the lettered people. I don't even know if I got any more. I am the lettered people. In the RT box with my Osborne listed above my crystal, you're able to look at the word, you're able to make out the word earth, as well as in that same column category, you're able to make out the word heart. Okay, so I'm your core, I'm your heart, I am your soul, I'm your everything, okay? You're able to make out in this letter box right here, you're able to make out companion. I'm your companion. I'm your counselor, okay? There was something else that he was wanting me to mention. Ooh, people, I got some stories for you. I do. I got some stories for you. I apologize about my hand being in the mix, but I'm tired. And so I'm going to go ahead and turn this recording off. Because for whatever reason, birth, I'm trying to refrain from getting upset. Birth also comes in that RT category, okay, people? But I got somebody that wants to set up here and be a nuisance. I have not been bothered all day long until I started making my recording. And the man y'all call father, he said, Crystal, he says, you're going into teacher's mode. Because I'm writing out these words and I'm showing y'all how he has taught me. Now I'm sitting here having to hold my phone up because I've been interrupted. When I tell y'all I got some things to reveal to you all, I'm going to tell you about the birth and born process that takes place before somebody is born and birthed, and the chosen choice routes that they choose to get doused. I'm already sitting up here upset because I don't have enough privacy. Because I got chickens and roosters crowing in the background that don't belong to me. And then to be interrupted during my recording of me revealing myself to the people from somebody that told me that my name had no meaning. But I'm going to cross your hands and your fingers. Y'all going to understand why I am the seasons, also known as the elements land. Why the Lord gets so upset with white man. You people have a good day.